Hello, hello. So I will admit, we definitely haven't worked on this since we last were here. I think I kind of want to start doing some colors in some of these girls. So we're going to start working on that. We'll do some color picking because that's not going to kill us. Professionals do color picking too. We're going to do the true color one. I'm going to copy this image. We're going to go ahead and sit that bad boy down here. Shego has a childhood crush look. We all do. Literally my wife, I don't know. Yay. I love the need to clarify that what you're doing is okay. Even pros do it. Look, it's true though. A lot of people want to give like so much hate, like, oh, you're using a reference, you suck. And I was like, no, it's a matter of consistency. It's not even more so to justify it, it's to let other people know that you can use reference and you can color pick. That is perfectly acceptable. That is very much a thing that is done professionally. Don't let some artists be like, oh, you're not a real artist if you're not doing X. That's something I used to be hung up on when I was younger. So we're gonna start working on doing like clipping masks. I'm gonna try and like fill this in a little bit so then we can get a nice base to work with and color on top of, and clipping mask for the win. So once we get the base like this flat to kind of do a clipping mask on top of it, we should be good. So I decided to get fancy with the hair because that's apparently what I do. What is it with me and like long-haired girls? It's like, oh, I love drawing long hair. I don't actually, but I love to see it. But what's everybody up to tonight? What are we doing? Learning some anatomy and drawing some Street Fighter. Heck yeah. I've done that so many times with like a variety of other artists that I really enjoy. Ooh, I like this brush a lot more already. They inspired me to draw, and so I just draw along with them, and it's like super satisfying because I feel like productive. All right, so Shego is blocked in, so now we're gonna do another layer on top and we're gonna do a clipping mask. That's gonna allow me to stay within these bounds, so I can literally take whatever color I want and it's just gonna stay in the bounds, which is fantastic. I'm gonna pick this color and I'm gonna color her outfit in. That's hella bright. I feel like I'm gonna drop the saturation on that just a tiny bit. That's like way up there. So we're gonna go ahead and color, and it could be rough, like it doesn't have to be perfect right now because right now we're just kind of like blocking things in. Keep in mind like where her hair and her skin are at, but for the most part we can fix that really easy. I'm also not going to use pure black on her hair because that's gonna like throw things off a little bit. You'd never want to use pure black on anything. Once I finish coloring her in, we're gonna go ahead and start working on like blocking out like shadows, like simple shadows and things like that, just for shits and giggles. All right, so I think this hand, if I'm thinking where it's at, it's her right hand, and that means her right hand's gonna be black, but I have to be really careful not to mix. So I need to grab her eye color. All right, beach save. Look, it saves automatically, damn, but thank you. Alrighty, flats are there. I did like a slight bluish. So I didn't want to make it like too dark because like her hair is hella dark. So we're just gonna go ahead and like fill that in a little bit. But this will be easy over here because like these are super quick. Also, if you guys have any questions about what I'm doing, just let me know. Like I'm obviously not an art teacher, but like happy to answer. So I'm just trying to block out the colors so like I can have that in here. I have no idea what I did with her hair. So we're just gonna like figure it out little by little. I think I'm gonna color this section in. Should I just do green for her hand? I probably should to kind of create a little bit of contrast here. Yeah, I probably should. Just so I can have like a break between her hair and her hand. Like I could make it all the same color, but I do not trust in my ability to like properly distinguish the different dark tones in here. So we're just gonna go ahead and block it out with this green. Because technically, if I'm following her chart correctly, this hand should be part of the black part because she has like a black gloved hand and a green gloved hand. Oh, I love freaking dropping color like that once you get all the main things in there. I am going to color this section so I can have the contrast, make sure that I'm at least getting the costume right, because I need to figure out where on the other side I need to put like the darker value for it. I'm trying to debate if I want to color her upper lip. Like I wanted to pick a slightly lighter color than this. I don't know if that's gonna work. So fun art question maybe. I feel like people do that hand pose a lot with the two fingers touching in the pinky and index spread away. Why? It's more visually appealing. It's about modeling and posing. So a lot of the poses and you know, cartoons or characters or very specific personalities pull from models, manga and all that stuff. But like a lot of the clothing and styles from like a lot of shonen, not shonen, shoujo, come from like crazy high fashion. So it's about like getting certain points and certain angles. And if you look at a lot of models, you'll see that they have some very unique hand poses because you can't just kind of like let them hang, but it's a variety of locations. Like a lot of art is inspired from other art in real life. You know, that's the whole term of like art imitation imitates life and life imitates art. And so we've pulled back and forth on both of those. The hand art questions ask, where's the light source? What is the source? How is the light source? Depends on what vibe you're going for. The light source will definitely impact the sort of mood you have on your piece. So like the question that you need to ask is like, what kind of mood are you trying to set with your piece? Are you doing under base lighting? Are you doing on the side? Are you doing front facing? Are you doing top? Every single one of those will create a different vibe. So the question is, what kind of mood are you trying to set? I still struggle with light and shadow. Maybe from the side. I'm just doing from the side. She just has a little bit of attitude. Like, that's it. As per usual. Also, mood can really depend on environment, settings, day, night, indoor. Yeah, all of that. So like the question is, what kind of story do you want to say? Like, that's it. Like, obviously I'm not really trying to tell a story with these characters. I'm just like drawing them. But for the most part, like, what are you trying to tell with your illustration? Is it light? Is it night? Like, are you trying to convey happiness? Are you trying to convey sadness? What is the emotion that you're trying to convey? And that will determine like the color choices. That will determine the mood lighting and everything. How dramatic do you want it to be? How extra do you want it to be? So like all of that will come into play. And again, I still struggle with all of these questions because I still haven't mastered light and shadow enough for that. When you play with it, you're gonna make mistakes, and that's fine. I still make mistakes, for goodness sakes. Like, I make mistakes all the time. So also you have to think in shapes. Now that I think about it, I know these things, but putting them into practice is a whole nother beast. I'm still putting a lot of these things into practice. It's always a constant learning process. There's so many aspects to like painting. Once you start getting like the hang of things, you then have to think about how to make those processes faster. Another part is like thinking about what layers do what for you. How do I want this to go? I feel like one of the hardest things for beginners is thinking in a 3D space instead of 2D. Yep. You have to think about how things function. I've definitely had to work on making sure that I'm able to understand these factors a little bit more. Looking for a reference, I remember why I was afraid of Google Images. It's a lot of bad stuff on Google Images. Use Pinterest. Pinterest can be okay. You get a lot of noise as well on Pinterest, and you risk the fact of certain images being removed. Definitely give Shego a smooch. Look, she's a cutie. You can't help it. I think that's pretty good. Even for me, I think that's pretty good. I think we'll leave it at that. I think that's good enough for now. That sketch was so messy, I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully I can do that a lot quicker. I love drawing noses. I don't know why. Like, I've been drawing since I was a little kid. I realized that I wanted to do art professionally when I was younger. I tried going to a school, but they didn't really teach me anything. I took some art classes at community college. Your teacher said I was too gestural. Gestural is not necessarily a bad thing. Should anatomy and color theory be the first thing people teach? Depends on the school. Since my school didn't teach, for example, like anatomy, I had to go and look for anatomy classes or figure drawing classes on my own time outside of schooling and with my own money on top of that. So like I had to spend even more money to do that. But like there's so much to it. But like if your teacher said that you were too gestural, like I don't even know what they were trying to get at with that. Gesture drawings are fantastic. They're so good for learning anatomy. Like, I don't know, expressions are just easier for me than most things. Like every artist has like their thing that comes easiest to them. What does high perspective mean? So very angled. Like obviously you can tell that, you know, she's kind of like pointing the mic at you. What I mean by it, I guess, is just like very perspective based, like exaggerated. Can be from any angle. And I'm not used to doing a lot of drawings outside of like the typical like 3/4 or front facing or profile based pieces. Like there's a little bit of gesture and a little bit of like movement, but it's never like super top angle in this one. This one's obviously like from a top down perspective in a way, or at least not even fully top down, but at least angled upwards looking down. Getting wrinkles properly is insane. Everybody like super sexualizes her, which I get, like I get it, but like at the same time it's like, bruh, you know what, let's do it gray because we're just gonna fill it all in and then we're gonna come in with an actual set of colors. We'll clean that up in a bit. I'm not too worried. Doing clipping masks is honestly like the best thing to do when coloring. Like I can stay within the lines, I can keep certain lines and shapes and not go over certain areas. It's like definitely one of the few things in my process that I'm always gonna do no matter what. Like it's just gonna be a thing forever. It's just so easy to do also. Like it takes a little bit at first, but like once you get like the edges of it, it's all good and dandy. It's so satisfying too. It makes it just easier in my opinion, because now I can just make like the brush huge and just go ham inside those boundary lines that I made with the line art. Now you have like a solid foundation of where you're gonna paint. You don't have to worry about like, oh my god, I'm gonna get out of the lines or whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're trying to do like gradients on something, even better, because now you can use the magic wand tool and like select a certain area, and now everything's gonna be inside these beautiful lines. And it's a-okay if I take someone else's color palette because I just like those colors. Every time I have to color shit, I think it's just gonna be like a staple. Like how do I keep this color? I want to keep this color permanently, so like a gray purple. So I think this is gonna be my base color every time I do a flat clipping layer, because almost nothing will ever be this color. Instead of starting with like their skin tone for this, I found the one. Does April have green eyes? I think she has green eyes, right? I can't remember. Black eyes, but looks like they changed it over the years. Yeah, I'm just gonna give her green eyes because like why not just give her green eyes, just make her full-on Irish. Who knows? These colors are gonna pop. I think that's my issue. I think it's not necessarily that I don't understand color theory so much. It's just like picking the right colors, yo. This is hella saturated. I'm gonna have to start doing like color picking palettes and just create an entire palette from like a set of something and just like build off of that, because obviously my own color picking skills ain't it, y'all. And that's okay. Like I'm not mad. I'm still like doing the thing. That's not gonna deter me. It's just I think I'm realizing like some of my weaknesses, and that's okay. So it looks like I'm leaning more towards like cell shading here, it looks like, so. But I'll be softening this up in a bit. This is gonna come out good. I like how this one's looking. So I think a lot of my issue is like the saturation of my colors, obviously. So what it's looking like though is that I'm giving like warm shadows, and that means I'm gonna have to make cool highlights and cool lighting. So, and I think this is probably gonna be one of my most saturated pieces, honest. I keep saying it, but I'm truly like feeling this piece. Yeah, I think I figured out something for myself and it's over, y'all. Why didn't I do this before? I feel like I just blew my own mind because I've been trying to do this outside of like Procreate and like figure out how to do it in Procreate, and I think we got there. You just watched me literally blow my own brain away. I don't even know how I got here, but we did it, so whatever, I guess. I feel like I just leveled up live with you all without even realizing it. Look at the difference this one layer makes. Like it adds so much to it, like not gonna lie. I may also watch a lot of other artists like do similar shapes like these, and I may be like partial, I don't want to say copying them, but like looking at their technique because I like it and being like, that's mine now, osmosis. But figuring it out like on my own is like so satisfying. I feel like that's part of it, like because like I've been watching all these other artists do this, and it was like insane to like now realize that that's something that I could do. I'm super happy about it, I'm not gonna lie. Oh yeah, this is good, this is good. But so far I'm really happy with her though, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like none of the colors on my monitors are doing this justice, and I'm super mad about it. I'm really enjoying like doing highlights now. Like I'm like vibing with this now. Okay, so I think for now, I think we're good. I need to give her a little bit of a break here if I keep going at this rate. Work in progress. We're almost done with her. I'm not like super upset with that, so we'll be able to finish that up soon here. I got like the major things that I wanted on there, so I'm not gonna go too crazy, but I think I figured out a better process for myself, so like I'm winning in that regard, so I'm really happy with that. Thank you everybody for coming by. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take your meds, drink your water, get some rest. Love you. Bye.